dumbest thing ever, or you decided to put yourself in that situation, or what were you thinking when you're doing that?
Hi there, how you doing? My name is Naomi and I create YouTube content. Thank you so much for being with me today. So, first of all, first of all, for those of you that are about to say, oh my goodness, Naomi, you did the dumbest thing ever, or you decided to put yourself in that situation, or what were you thinking when you're doing that, or okay, whoever is going to think negative about this incident, please get out of my page. I said get out of my page now. Okay, so you decided to stay? Great, even better. Okay, so this is where the story will begin. As you all know, I am a Christian, a spirit-filled Christian, tongue-speaking Christian. That's what I've grown to know, and I know for sure this is what's brought me to death, my relationship with Christ. So at some point, I would say early 2018, I began to lose track. I fell off track. I started losing my focus in prayer. I would pray. Let me just say, my prayer life was minimized. The amount of time I was reading the Word was minimized. And being someone that's fully been has, let me say, developed and grown in Christ, created a relationship, and then you decide at some point you stop building that relationship or furnishing that relationship, it begins to dry. It dries off. It literally, like, it's so hard, and it's so hard to go back on track. You understand? So that's how it was for me. Early 2018, I lost it. I lost focus, and it was so bad. For me, I feel like that's the worst year of my life. You guys may say 2020 was your worst. For me, it was 2018, because one, I stopped praying effectively. I stopped reading the Word effectively, the way it's supposed to be done, meditating on the Word day and night. Yeah. So I remember I was in Namibia then. So throughout the year it was like that. So you can imagine an entire year of less prayer. Of course, there will be days when I'll be like, oh, the guilt kicks in, and I'll be like, oh, I need to go back to pray. I need to go back to, my prayer mode and stuff. It will come. I'll probably do it for 1 or 2 days, and then I'll fall off track again. So towards the end of that year, I came back home to Zambia. Then I was in Namibia. I came back home to Zambia, and I remember very well, it was on Christmas Day. We went out for swimming with my small brother. We went out for swimming, and once we got back home, I told him I was going to get us some dinner just somewhere nearby. So I decided to go. It was by Manda Hill, for those of you that know Manda Hill. So I went there by the mall, and I found the place where I wanted to buy closed. And I was like, oh my goodness, now what? So I decided, okay, fine. Since I found this place closed, let me just walk. Let me just take a walk and, just refresh, and because I really love walks. So I decided to take a walk. I don't know if you guys know the Mulungushi side. So I was like walking, going around Mulungushi, going to the other side. My aim was to go and get on a bus by their kids' bus stop. So I was just going around. So on my way, when I was going around, this certain particular car stopped. So when the car stopped, I looked. The person that was in the car looked very friendly, you guys, like very friendly. And this is someone that's probably thinking, oh, maybe I need a new group of friends and da. There's just a lot that goes on during that period where you feel like you're lost and you've lost it and stuff. So, some thoughts will come to you saying, no, I think you need new friends, because you don't have friends and you haven't had friends for the longest time. So for me, it felt like a platform to create a new friend. So when that person stopped, I got into the car. Though, he was like, oh, hi, how are you? What? I'm good. And then he's like, where are you going? I was like, no, I'm just taking a walk around. I'm going to get on a bus onto the other side. Oh, he was like, oh, no, sure thing. I can help you. Actually, I can push you. So I was like, oh, okay, fine, it's fine, it's fine. Guys, have you noticed how I always scratch my head every time I'm doing a video? And I never notice. So every time I'm editing the video, I'm like, girl, you scratch your head. Anyways, so yeah, yeah, I remember getting onto his car and then we started driving off. And then he was like, no, I'm actually going to pick up a friend just nearby here. Is it okay if we can just go pick up and then we can drop you? I was like, oh, okay, cool, fine. So he goes by some nearby restaurant. He finds the friend there. He goes out, goes to talk to the friend. I don't know what exactly they were talking about till date. So they went there, talked maybe for like 10-20 minutes, and then someone came. I think it was one of the cleaners by the same restaurant place. So he came and brought me a drink, a fruity drink. So I was like, oh, it's from the guy. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So I got the drink and then put it by the corner somewhere where you can, reserve your drinks and stuff. So later on, he was like, oh no, I'm actually just going to see a friend of mine. So do you mind escorting me to go see this friend of mine? Guys, at that point, I really didn't think about anything negative. Like literally, there was nothing negative that came across my mind to say, but what's going on? Like literally, I was on zero. For me, I was just like, oh, especially that I was in Zambia, knowing the Zambian environment, for me, I was extremely comfortable. So we went to the friend's place and it wasn't so far. We went to the friend's place, and before we went to the friend's place, he kept on talking on the phone to say, my guy, have you reserved my cake for me? I'm coming to get some of that cake. Please save that cake. So when we went there, got into the friend's house, the first thing I noticed in that house, when I went into that house, was the weird carpet. It was the Egyptian carpet, but then I found it very weird. Maybe it was because of the colors that it had. I don't know. I really can't really pick what exactly, but then I just found that carpet very weird. So, I still went ahead and then he brought the cake. The cake was really smashed and stuff and all that stuff when he brought, because he was like, oh, here's some cake and you can have some of the cake. So I was like, okay, no, but then at this thingy, I'm losing weight. At this point, I think I was doing some diet thingy and all that stuff. So I didn't want to eat so much of the cake and stuff and the unhealthy stuff. So the guy gave me a bowl where the cake was, and I got the bowl. I looked at it and I was like, it doesn't even look appetizing, because it was smashed. So I just got a bit, like just a bit, then I ate. Sat, maybe like after maybe 10-20 seconds, I got like another small piece again. I ate, and for me, I told myself, no, I'm done. I'm no longer eating this cake. So when we sat there, I remember we were watching some Zanzi something on TV. Yeah. So a few, let me say 1 or 2 minutes, I felt this strong, massive heat from the back, like poof. And I'm like, immediately that happened, you guys. Immediately it happened. I was like, oh no, I'm in the enemy's camp. Ha. Yo! So immediately I heard that, I stood and rushed to the door. I felt, that when that heat came to me, it made me feel so dizzy. I felt like I was, almost blacking out. So I headed straight to the door. I opened the door and went to the corridor. And then the guy that I came with came to me saying, what's wrong? And then I was like, leave me alone and take me home. The guy's like, what's wrong? What did you see? Tell me. And I'm like, why is your first question, what did you see? You must stick to what is the problem? What is wrong? You get? So I went and then I was headed towards the gate. I was like, I'm getting out of this place. This is a satanic place. This is a demonic place. And I'm not going to give it a chance. I went there to the gate. The gate was locked. I was like, okay, I'm going back to 2017, 2016, 2014. That's where I'm headed to. I started praying, you guys. I started praying in tongues. I prayed. The guy came out because he went, when he asked me, what have you seen? He went back inside. For me, I went to the gate. And then the guy came back. What's wrong? He just found me praying. And then, you could tell that he was nervous. Like, we don't need such people here. You're praying, like, of course he didn't say anything. But then you could see he was nervous because I was praying. Guys, I prayed. I prayed in tongues. I prayed. And I said, God, if anything happens to me today, then you're not God. I prayed. And then the guy came out because I went there with a bottle of water. And I've got a very strong feeling that water also helped, you guys, the water. Because for me, guys, I'm a child of God. Whatever I hold, it becomes anointed. So for me, I feel like that. So he got that bottle of water. He could have left it if he wanted. He got that bottle of water and gave it to me to say, he came out. He was like, okay, let me take you home. Then he gave me the bottle of water. So on our way, I was like, something kept on coming to my mind. Because he kept on wanting to seem as if he wasn't a part of it or he didn't know. He was like, no, what did you see? And then I was like, no, it's not about what did I see. Like, it was just something that came to me and I felt very weak and stuff. And then afterward, he decided now asking me questions. What church do you go to? And then I remember mentioning, then I was going to Ebenezer. I mentioned the church, Ebenezer City of Hope. And then later on, he was like, you know what? The way you reacted to this incident is not the way other people would react. That came from his mouth, you guys. It's like the way you reacted is not the way other people would react. You were screaming Jesus. You were screaming. No, he wasn't even mentioning the name. He was like, others would mention mommy or daddy. You know that expression where when you hit yourself and then you've got that kind of mommy or daddy, can scream. That's how he explained that other people would react. But for you started praying. And I was like, yeah, because I'm a child of God. At that point, I started being confident because I knew these guys won't defeat me. No matter how hard they try, they will not defeat me. So some, courage started coming in. And then one thing he picked out of me was that, but you are very fearful. You should stop having fear. So you guys, one thing you must know is that the enemy sees your weaknesses and he plays around with them. That's where he stands. That's his footstool. Once he notices that this is one person's fear, because for me, I've got a very strong feeling it was food. Unfortunately, it was food and fear. That's why for them it was like, let's engage food. Otherwise they're going to use any other means, you get. That's why they engaged food and all that stuff. So yeah, along the way. And then I remember when he dropped me off, he was like, Ish, I'm even scared of you, like greeting you or saying hi or, just any physical touch. So yeah, after that, when I got home, you guys, when I started feeling the effect, I was like, these guys might have put something either in the food or I don't know. But then just something happened. I started feeling very different. I was extremely scared. I couldn't sleep that night. I remember sleeping in the living room with TB Joshua playing in the background. For those of you that don't believe in TB Joshua, it's okay. My brother, my sister, it's okay. So yeah, I slept in there, but still I could feel there's something extremely wrong. And I really need to work this out ASAP before it gets any worse. So I remember seeking prayer here and there because, guys, you have to be realistic with this world. Like, you have to be realistic with this world we are in. There are powers that are greater. Of course, there's a God's power. But then once the power of God is lesser in you, there's that power that's going to come and, overcome that small power that you have in you. It has to be big. You have to invest in it. If you don't invest in it, my dear, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. The left, right, center. Ukwa lolo mwela. That's where you go. So, I remember I really needed help and I really needed a man of God that would pray and cast this spirit out of me because I could feel, I couldn't sleep. I was seeing myself in in graveyards. Like, it was just the most weirdest dreams ever. Like, it was bad, you guys. It was so solid bad. And and at some point I think I was almost running crazy because I literally couldn't sleep, and I was so scared. I remember being in the house for a full, I don't know if it was 2 weeks and all that stuff, just being in the house because I'm scared. Because, you know, this person dropped me home. He knows where I stay. So, you know, thoughts would be like, hey, they'll come back. This time they'll come back in a gang. So I remember calling this prophet. I called him and he was like, you know what? You know, the only thing that's limiting you right now, it's fear. Once that fear goes, once you ignore and, you know, be as courageous as possible, all those thoughts, all those point of entries that the enemy is using, they will collapse, they will disappear. It's just fear. And then he came, he prayed for me and all that stuff. Yeah. And I believe at that point I started building myself slowly but sure. But then, guys, still I could still feel this tension, and I was like, no, this is not right. This is not how my life should be. I can't be living a life that is so fearful. I was afraid of every single noise, everything around me. Just, there was just so much fear that was built. So I remember I went to visit one of my cousins, and my cousin was like, and my aim of visiting my cousin at that point, I went to do my hair. And then my cousin was like, no, actually at church we're having this and this, we're having prayer and deliverance, and I would rather we go for prayer and deliverance and then we come back and do the hair. I'm like, oh my gosh, prayers again. Yeah. So I went there, and then I explained to the man of God what it is or exactly that was happening and all that stuff. Guys, I was prayed for. I got my deliverance, and I can excitingly, proudly say I am free from that spirit of oppression, distraction, manipulation, ignore. It was the worst spirit ever. Now, here's the reason why those guys wanted to capture me. It's not something that I'm thinking of or imitating. Everything, I probably missed one or two things, but I believe I've put everything in one. So the reason why this, like I said, you guys, once you lose it in your prayer life, you read less and you focus more on, you know, anything else. Just know you're investing more in that other thing compared to reading the word of God and, you know, and praying. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Of course, there are days when I do slack, but then my prayer life at this point is perfect. And my reading of the word, I'm getting there. And for me, the word is the key thing. The word of God is the key thing. So I feel like that point in my life where I stopped and I lost focus, it's like my life became an open book to the enemy. So he had an opportunity and he could see, oh, so this is the gift that this person has. This is the gift that this person has. We don't want you to succeed in that area. So the prophet, the first prophet that I called, he told me, he was like, you know how many people were actually in that house? He was like, there were actually 6 people in that house. I only saw 2 people, the same friend that we were going to visit and the one that I was. There were 6 people. There were 6 people in that house, and the main aim was to initiate me into worldly things, like going out in the clubs, drinking, smoking, persuading people, and all that stuff, like being a prostitute. That's what I was told. Being a high-class prostitute, not those high-class prostitute. Imagine, you guys, me, I know for sure that I'm gifted. I can't even know. I am gifted and the Lord has blessed me. I am grateful every single day. I say thank you, Lord. But then look at how the enemy wanted to get that beautiful prophetic gift and manipulate it and put it into his own rubbish, disgusting gift. Think about it. Just think about it. Like, look at how cruel the enemy can be. Something that's beautifully built wants to divert it into something extremely disgusting. And you know, when he told me that, and then I started thinking back on when we went to that restaurant, the people that at some point we stopped and like started greeting, they were a mess, you guys. When I mean a mess, I mean a mess. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, are these the type of people this guy hangs around with? And then a thought came back to me to say, no, but then I think I can change him. That's what came to my mind. I was like, I think I can change him. He'll probably change, you know, and start hanging around with good, positive vibes. So that's how it's been for me. That's how it was for me. So from then onwards, where did I think I've lost it? Their aim was to kill, steal, and to destroy. But Naomi Glory Mono has a God who brings life and brings it in abundance. So you know, at that point I, you know, just got back on track and, you know, just asked for forgiveness from God to say, no, Lord, I'm sorry I lost it. Because to be honest, the time I lost it, I just started like, you know, started desiring the wrong things. Because I feel like once you're a believer, once you're a child of God, you desire the right things. You should, you know, I always tell, you know, my loved ones, my friends and all that stuff, life is all about positivity. You're supposed to enjoy it, of course. Enjoy it in a good, healthy manner. Who doesn't want to enjoy life? Life is meant to be enjoyed. But then if you want to enjoy life in a manner that's going to destroy you in one way or another, either your health, your spirit, your life, what's the point? What's the point? I don't understand. Like literally, I don't understand. Others will be like, no, it's so hard for me to da 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 da. No, but then it's up to you. You can work on yourself. It's up to you. You can work on yourself. You can decide to say, you know what, I am done. Once your mind is set for it, once your heart is set for it, that's it. So it's really up to you. Because let me tell you another thing, you guys. If you are into this world, the enemy will just look at you and be like, oh, that's it. You will be living an oppressive life, destructive life, ignorant life. Yeah, the decisions you're making don't even make sense, but you feel like they're making sense. Like your life is just not going to be set, like, you know, on track. So monitor everything you do, monitor what you do, monitor what you desire, especially because what you desire in life is what really stands. So seek for prayer, seek for advice where need be. But yeah, so for me, that is where I would say, no, I really had a challenge in my life, and now I can proudly say I'm back on track, and I'm grateful to God for preserving my life, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today, to be honest. And I always think to myself, what would have happened to me that day, you guys? Like, what would have happened? An enemy taking you back to your house. Ha! They just dumped you in the middle of the road and be like, find your way home. That's how it works. So for me, I'm very grateful that God really did justice and he helped me in this. This was way beyond me. It was way beyond me, and I'm very grateful to God that he helped me. And I can proudly say that I am a free molecule. I am a free molecule, and I am blessed of the Lord. I am the apple of God's eye, and he always protects me. No matter how hard the enemy will try, I will walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I will fear no evil. Now I feel like I'm more courageous, I'm more bold, and I've got so much confidence now that, you know, this really happened to me, and I feel like it built me in some way. So yeah, guys, so, you know, let's try to think of our ways, and let's try to be how will I put it? Let's try to control our desires, especially. I usually focus on desires because that's like in the mind and in the heart. So yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for watching my video. Please ensure you like and share the link so that it may encourage or inspire someone. You never know, maybe someone has passed through this and they need an answer to it, or someone has probably already passed through it and they're trying to escape from it. Just, share the link so that we can help one or two people out there. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.
Been ready, born ready.